Hello Facebook. How is everybody? I hope everybody is well. I've got the lovely Amy joining us on Facebook. So as usual, Amy will be doing all the links and on there with the community there. Thank you very much to everybody on Instagram, because I know that you're so brilliant at supporting the community on Instagram as well and sharing links and ideas and things. And as always on Instagram, I put all the links in my link tree. So pretty much everything I can think of goes into Linktree. If you're new to Instagram and you haven't seen me on here before, then you go to my bio, my biography, where they have the little circles, the little pictures, and then a little bit of blurb about me, and then at the bottom it says Linktree in blue. And if you click on that, then a whole world opens up, doesn't it, guys? Of all sorts of things, links to podcasts and recipes, and I mean, even the stuff I'm wearing. This is an Asquith top, by the way. So these are our lovely friends, the sustainable British clothing brand that just kind of makes active wear. I like it because I get the back. You can see that. And there is a code, Liz Loves code for Asquith. Can't remember exactly what it is. I've got it here on my iPad. Thank you, Amy, for reminding me. I have been up a long time today. AsquithLondon.com is their website, and it's Liz Earle 20. Gets you 20% off. Anyway, all the links in the bios or on Facebook as always. So this morning, if you didn't see it, I was back on This Morning. Always seems weird when I have to write that in my captions. I'm on This Morning. And it's always such a fun show to do, and just kind of takes me back so much, because that's where I started. I started on This Morning. This November it'll be 32 years ago, with Richard and Judy. Who remembers that? From the Albert Dock. I used to go up 2 or 3 times a week and work up there, and I was doing beauty and food and lifestyle and all sorts. I used to do phone-ins on the sofa with Richard and Judy. I used to go out and about. I mean, those were kind of the days of bigger budgets for TV, so I used to go all over the world. I used to go to LA and film. I went to Hollywood, filmed in Spain and lots in France. Would go to Paris very often and do fashion shows behind the scenes. And in those days, it was kind of like me and maybe 3 other camera crews. I think there was sort of CNN, Reuters, and maybe a team from Japan, and that was kind of it. And very few photos of those days, sadly, because we didn't have cameras on our phones. You know, if you took a picture, you had to go and get the film developed. Back in the day. It makes me sound really old, doesn't it? Anyway, there we are. So today I thought that, do you know what? I'm set up here because this is where I did my live this morning. So it was on Skype. So it was a split screen, and I had Holly and Phil, and I could hear the gallery in my ear because I had my little ear pod in telling me, giving me timings and stuff. And so I set it all up, and of course, live TV being what it is, it's kind of over in a flash. And I thought, I'll just carry on. I'll do it again, and I'll do it maybe in a little bit more detail so that you can see, and I'll just share it with you. So today was all about juicing, and they really wanted me to do this because I think a lot of us are now beginning to come out of lockdown and back into real life, and we're kind of looking at ourselves going, gosh, what has the last 10 weeks done for me, and how can I get back into shape? How can I feel better? Maybe I've been convalescing. Maybe, we're all aware of summer coming. We are in kind of, perhaps slightly skimpier clothing. And so let's have a focus on being fit and well. And for me, it's not about losing loads of weight, and I don't use juices for that. I know a lot of people talk about juice fasts and juice cleansing, and sure, there is a place for that if that's where you want to go, but for me it's much more about adding in good stuff. It's, how can I get more nutritious foods into me and my kids, and juicing is part of that. So I've written about juicing a lot. If you go to lizarlewellbeing.com, you will see so much on juicing, and it's kind of the mood du jour of the moment. So it's all over everywhere. And also, if you watch me this morning and want to have those recipes, then we've put them on the website. But just to share, I have written several books on juicing. Yeah, you might not know that. But yeah, back in the day, this is a lovely one. This is still just about in print, although I think it's quite hard to find. This is just called Juice. I'm sorry it comes out backwards. That's the way it works, I'm afraid. No, it's beautifully photographed, and it's got lots of lovely things. I mean, look at that. This is called the Summer Slimmer. Doesn't that look beautiful? And that is using strawberries. Oh, actually, this is the one that I made this morning. It's all carefully planned, isn't it? Yes, so this is strawberries and cabbage. Yeah, who knew? Strawberries and cabbage with some mint. Looks so pretty. And there's lots in here, actually, just about the ingredients and things that you can do. So, for example, this morning I added spirulina to one of my juices, which Phil drank, and I have to say, you know, he is a one, Phil. I remember being in the studio live with him and giving him some kefir, and he nearly gagged. So I thought, oh no, what's he going to do if I give him some spirulina? Anyway, he was very gracious and said it, you know, it wasn't too bad. There's also a section about how to grow your own wheatgrass. So there's lots of stuff. I have a few of these here at the farm, which I'm very happy to sign and send out. Otherwise, you can probably find them online. Otherwise, go to lizearlewellbeing.com. Very handy wipeable cover. Very important if you've got books in the kitchen that they have wipe clean covers. So I'm going to share with you a few of the things that I did. Now, when I started off on this morning, I wanted to start with a juice that you didn't need a juicer for, because let's face it, not all of us have juicers. So I put together 3 ingredients basically, which you can buy. So bottled beetroot. Not allowed to show any brand names on telly, so I had to take all the labels off. That was partly why I was up early this morning, soaking labels off everything. So this is, it's roughly kind of a third. So I'll put a splash of beetroot juice in here. Beetroot juice is something that athletes and marathon runners use. They have it before they train or compete in an event. It's shown to increase the uptake of oxygen in the body. It's an extraordinary thing, beetroot, actually. And then I use a bit of cloudy apple juice. Again, this is shop bought, but I had to decant everything into plain bottles, so I couldn't be having anything branded. And then a little bit of carrot juice. So this was actually from the Healthy Juice Company. This is their lovely cold pressed carrot juice. It's really, really good. But you can buy carrot juice. Usually in health food shops you can get carrot juice, but theirs I particularly like because it's not preserved in any way. And it's really fresh and good organic carrot juice. So that makes a mixture like that, which is quite powerful. So if you're new to juicing, go easy. You know, think of juices as foods that you want to taste and savour. They're not glugging. This is not a liquid drink like a glass of water, okay? This is something that you almost want to chew. Now, the issue with that, of course, you've got to be careful of your teeth. A lot of people prefer to have juices through a straw, paper straw, obviously, or a metal recycling straw, not a plastic one, because, yeah, they can be very acidic on tooth enamel. But also, you might like to dilute it. So I will usually dilute a juice. Certainly if I'm giving it to children, I dilute my juices and I just sip them slowly. And into that, I like to put ginger. Now, you can juice ginger. Obviously, if you've got a juicer, you can shove it through your juicer. But you can also crush and make your own ginger juice with a garlic press. Yes, indeed you can. So I've got my fresh ginger root. And easier to peel it. Have I got a small knife? No, I shall use a large knife. Because then it goes through the juicer, not the juicer, well, it can go through the juicer if you've got a juicer, but it can just go through the garlic press a little bit more easily. You can also, if you want, you could grate it. So if you haven't got a garlic press, but hopefully most people have got a garlic press of some kind. So I've just chopped that into little pieces here, and I'm going to pop that into my garlic press. Oops. And then you will see, all being well, if I can do this. There we go. So you can just hold that over your juice and just, can you see that? I'm just sort of squeezing that in. So this is a much, much easier and much cheaper way of making fresh ginger juice, because you can buy ginger juice and turmeric shots. I'll show you one of those in a minute, how to make your own. But they are quite expensive. I think they're, I don't know, £3 maybe for a little shot, and they come in plastic, so they're not exactly fresh. Oh, that is good. That is really good. So that's the first one that you can do without having to buy juicer. And I'm often asked, you know, what is the best juicer? What do I rate? To be honest, I think they're all much of a muchness. I quite like the high-speed juicers because they take a lot of the nutrients out of fibrous fruits and veg. So they're very powerful. Now, detractors from that will say, but you need to cold press. And if you have something that works really fast, like that with a motor, then it heats up the juice, which it does to a certain extent. I mean, it doesn't get it very hot, but it does certainly make it warm. And obviously that can then interfere with the enzyme content of the juice. However, it's more efficient at getting the nutrients out of the whatever you're juicing. So cold pressing, yes, it maybe preserves the integrity of the juice from an enzymatic point of view. But in terms of getting more nutrition released from your material, then your high-speed juicers are probably going to be more efficient at doing that. So the jury is still out, I would say. I'm not sure that it massively makes a difference. Depends how much of a purist you are, I guess. Anyway, I have got here a sage juicer, which is just one that I've had in my cupboard for a long time. And I have got, actually this is a little bit of juice that I made earlier on this morning. And something else that you can do if you're making juices, because I do know there is a faff, isn't it, frankly. You've got to get your juicer out, you chop everything up, then you've got to break it all down and wash it out. And, you know, it is a bit of a performance, I won't lie. But it is worth it, I think. Particularly if you're going to do it, you know, over a period of time. Maybe you're going to set aside a weekend or 3 or 4 days when you're going to have a real focus and just think, I'm actually just going to put all the rubbish away. I'm not going to have anything that comes out of a packet. I'm going to replace my breakfast or my brunch with a juice, maybe my supper with another juice, and maybe have a little light bit of salad or something at lunchtime, and just help to get back on track. So if you do that, I've got here, this is my lovely green juice, and this is kale with orange and apple, mostly kale. I think the key is always to try and get more veggies than fruit, because obviously fruit it's good, but it's very high in sugar. So yes, you do need to have really more veg than fruit. And actually bear in mind that even things like carrots and beetroot are naturally very high in sugar. So, you know, just be careful. Lots of green. The greener the juice, really the better, in my opinion. But when you've made your juice, what you can do is you can freeze it. And again, I know there are purists out there who'll be saying, oh, but you're going to destroy all the enzymes and what have you. I think it's fine to freeze juices. And I think it's better to have frozen juice than no juice. And the great thing about these is that once you've got them, you can, you know, freeze them, and then you can tip them into bags or boxes in the freezer. And then you can chuck them into blend. So if you've already got, say, some carrot juice on the go or a bit of apple juice, you can just melt a couple of these lumps in. And you don't have to get the whole juicer out and do the whole thing all over again. Also really nice in the summer, you can do flavoured waters. You might have seen me earlier in the week when I showed you my rose water and strawberry and mint cubes that I'd made in an ice cube tray. And those are just great for kids because you can just chuck them in. Whoops, I'm spilling this everywhere. Put this down. You can just chuck that into a glass of water. That's gone everywhere. Excuse me one moment while I reach for a cloth. And and you've got that as a ready-made kind of healthy drink that is something that's not too sweet. You know that you've got vitamins in there, and yeah, it's all tickety-boo. So I'm going to show you what I juiced this morning. So I'm just going to add to that one. So I used a orange, and when I peeled my orange, you can see here that I actually left the pith on it. So I'm not taking the pith. Sorry, couldn't resist that. Now I'm leaving the pith on because the pith contains nutrients called bioflavonoids, and these are linked to the bioavailability of vitamin C. So you get more vitamin C if you leave your pith on the orange. And it also gives you a little bit of prebiotic fibre and all of that, because of course you're taking out a lot of the fibre by juicing, but you can do things with the fibre. Yes, you can. So I'm going to use a couple of apples. Where did my knife go? Oh, there it is. You don't need to peel apples. You basically just have to take the little woody stalk out. And I'm just going to chop those into quarters, and you juice everything. You juice skin, you juice pips, the whole 9 yards, it all goes in. And in fact, most of the nutrients in fruit and veg lies just beneath the skin, the antioxidants. That's partly what gives the colour to the skin, and it's there to protect the fruit or veg from UV. Whoops. So that's why, you know, peeling stuff is not so great. But of course, ideally, you want to have homegrown or locally grown from somebody that you know, or organic, because then it's not been sprayed. You know, frankly, I'm afraid to say, you know, you do need to be a little bit more careful when you're juicing stuff that's whole, because you need to be sure that you're not juicing a whole load of pesticides and squeezing that out into your juice. So I'm put in a handful of kale. Sorry, you can't see that on Instagram, can you? Let me see if I can move that a bit closer. So I have shoved in my, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. And what else am I going to put in? So I've got apple, kale and orange. I think that's about it. Maybe a little bit more apple to go down on the top. Leaves sometimes don't juice easily, so you kind of want to sandwich your leaves in between other things. Something else that you can do if you want to put basil. So basil is a really lovely ingredient to have in juices, but you know, juicing, this is my little basil plant here, juicing the basil is quite hard because the leaves just get kind of clogged up in the mechanics of it and you don't get any juice. So what you need to do there, oh, this basil plant smells so amazing, is just pick off a couple of leaves and then you just sort of wrap them around your carrot like that, or a bit of apple or cucumber or fennel, whatever it is you're juicing, and then wedge it in your juicer so that it basically kind of pushes it all down and juices. So excuse me for one moment because this is going to make a noise. Okay, here we go. Yeah. There we are. Nearly all the way down. Oh. I'll do it for now anyway. So I've got my workout gear on still, you see. Very good for your muscles, pushing the juicer. So this, oh, that smells amazing. I can smell the greenness of it. Oh, I've got my orange. That's no good, is it? Let me see if I can get the orange. Can I get the orange in there as well? One moment. And actually also you can juice lemons, so you could juice a whole lemon if you wanted to, and that smells amazing. Oh my goodness, if you've ever juiced a lemon, I wonder if I can get a lemon in there. Was that? I think it's all gone a little bit, what do I need? I need a spoon. I think it's all got a little bit blocked in the bottom there. Yeah, there we go. I might try with, maybe I'll just try with this half lemon that I've got left over from this morning. I'm going to have to turn that up a little bit. This has got settings on it and you can adjust it, which is quite good. So let's see if that lemon will go through. Oh wow, the smell! That is very lemony. Really, really good. Again, if you're going to use lemons like that, if you're going to use them whole, buy the unwaxed ones, because otherwise you're getting all the waxiness, the coating that they put on to it. Hi, what do I do with the leftover pulp? Well, I shall tell you, Victoria, on Facebook, what I do with it. Let me just pour this into... God, that is just, look at that colour. I mean, that is health in a glass, isn't it, really? Mm-hmm. Yup. That is a good one. That is really good. And what I did this morning with Holly and Phil is I added a teaspoon of spirulina powder. Okay, so these are things that you can play around with your juices. You can add spirulina, you can add chlorella, wheatgrass, barley powder. You could add contents of a probiotic capsule if you wanted to. Spirulina is really good. It's a microalgae, and it's the best form of DHA, which is the omega-3 brain fat. Really, really important for mental health and brain. And if you are vegan particularly, and you're not eating any kind of fish, don't rely on flaxseed oil supplements because they don't convert properly to the DHA. You need something like an algae. So you need to be having your chlorella or spirulina. I actually did a very interesting podcast on that. Amy, I don't know if you can find that link, my love, and pop it onto Facebook. It was with Simon, Dr. Simon, his last name escapes me. Is it Doyle? Anyway, he's at the Roehampton Institute and he does a lot of work on brain chemistry and brain fats, and it's really fascinating. He talks about the conversion process and what converts properly, the pathways into DHA that we need for our brain, and how flaxseed doesn't convert compared to things like microalgae. So there you go. So there's your green juice. The other one that I did this morning was to look at a strawberry juice. So this was my fresh strawberry juice this morning. Now, I got shop bought strawberries, and I have to say I was a bit disappointed because they don't really taste of very much. So, kind of okay. But compared to, obviously, homegrown, or if you've got a garden or somebody with an allotment, or you can do pick your own, or buy the ones that say grown for flavour. I mean, isn't that crazy? Why else do you grow some fruit? Why would you not grow it for flavour? Is there any other kind? Anyhow, so, you know, bear in mind that your juice will only really taste as good as the ingredients you put in it. I know it sounds obvious to say that, but it is true. So, for this juice, that's about a dozen or so strawberries with a fifth of a cabbage. Yeah, who knew? Strawberries and cabbage. This is a Savoy cabbage, but you can also use red cabbage. Powerhouse of nutrients, red cabbage. Really good. And then I also put into that some mint leaves from my mint plant, which is over here. So a few mint leaves, and again, you know, wrap that if you're juicing the mint leaves, wrap it around a piece of cabbage or something when you push it through. But this is really nice and sweet. So, you know, younger members of the family who might be a bit fussy, mentioning no names, will hopefully enjoy this. Actually, Holly liked this, which was really nice. I know she's got young ones at home. And actually, you don't taste the cabbage, you know, so it's quite a sneaky way of getting goodness into people who might otherwise be a bit of a fusspot. So the other thing that I did was I made a turmeric shot. Now, I know lots of you are talking about the shot box that we have in Liz Earle Wellbeing with the Healthy Juice Company, which is something I absolutely love. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But just to say, this is how you can make your own shot very easily. Because what I don't like is these little plastic bottles that you buy of shots, turmeric shots and things. There, you know, you find them in all the trendy kind of little takeaway coffee places at the moment. And, you know, they have a place because they're useful, but they are really expensive, and you can make it yourself really easily if you know how. So what you need to do is, where is my turmeric? My turmeric powder has gone. Oh, there it is, right in front of my nose. So let me get a teaspoon. So I'm going to use a tiny bit of turmeric, okay? You really don't need to use very much. And it does stain, so be really careful, yeah, with your clothing, and it can stain certain surfaces. So I'm going to pop that in my glass. Now, turmeric, in order for it to be absorbed properly by the body, it really needs fat, and it needs a little bit of pepper. The curcumin in black pepper is something that just increases its availability in the body. And turmeric, lots and lots of studies on turmeric. We've written a lot about it on Liz Earle Wellbeing. I'm going to pop a few drops of olive oil in there. That's my extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO, as we call it now. EVOO. If you see that written in recipes and things, that's what people are talking about, extra virgin olive oil. A little grind of black pepper in there. Then I'm going to use half a lemon, So again, this is something, you know, you could make it up the night before if you wanted to have it first thing, or you could make it up in the morning. And then I'm going to use my little ginger trick, which I popped over here. So this is to get a garlic press. And I mean, if you were fighting a cold, I would actually press fresh garlic as well, because I really do like the kind of antibacterial powers of garlic. It's not very sociable though, so mind you, I guess we're not feeling very sociable at the moment, are we? At least we can't go out and get that close to people that it matters if we've been eating garlic. I ate loads of garlic last night actually. I made a banya cauda dip. I was trying out some new recipes, and it was basically anchovies with olive oil and garlic. Really, really strong, but it's fantastic. And then I just chopped up carrot strips and a bit of fennel and a bit of cucumber and a bit of cauliflower, raw cauliflower, and dipped that in. It was really good. Anyway, let me pop that in there. Oh, it's a fiddly little thing, isn't it? Okay, so I've got that there. So I can just squeeze that ginger juice into my shot. There we go. You could actually put all the kind of gubbins if you want in there and strain it if you wanted to, just let it infuse for a bit. So I'm going to mix that together. If you want to, you can sweeten it with a little bit of honey, because this is quite powerful, I'm not going to lie. But actually what I like to do is add some apple juice. Where's my apple juice gone? I had apple juice somewhere. I use one of this one. But yeah, you can use apple juice just to dilute it. Or water with a bit of honey, whatever you like really. You know, it's not an exact science, it's not prescriptive, but that does make your turmeric drink. And let's try that. Oh, yeah, powerful. Oh, that has got a punch to it. Really, very good. And any left over, you know, you could throw that into a curry or a sauce or something. Really nice. Oh, here's my honey. So yeah, I could have added a little bit of honey to that if I wanted to. But so there you go. So those are just some very, very simple ideas that you can do. And let me just tell you about, if you don't want the faff of doing that yourself, or you want to try out juicing, then we have got this lovely shot box collaboration going on, and this is a commercial collaboration that we did with the Healthy Juice Company. You can see it advertised actually in Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, the shot box. That gives you your 3 little shots, including, there's an almond milk and nut milk and the green juice, Go Green, and your turmeric shot. And then you get, there's also probiotics and high strength vitamin C and a bath soak and various other things that come in that. So do take a look at that if you're interested. But also what I really like about the Healthy Juice Company, and these are, you know, these guys are like the ultimate in juices. They're not the cheapest at all, but they are, in my opinion, the best. And what they do, if you're interested in doing a cleanse, and they're not paying me to say this, by the way, I do genuinely just like this, there's nothing, not doing it for any kickback or anything, is they do this little cleanse box. Well, it's quite a big cleanse box actually, and you'll see all the details on their website, and it comes with a little thing there that says cleanse. It's all in sustainable packaging. This is all compostable sheep's fleece and all of that, and you get your juices. So this one is pineapple, cucumber and mint. That's rather lovely, isn't it? It's nice and cold because it's got ice bricks in with it. This one is classic roots, so that's sort of a beetrooty one. Then you've got here gentle green, that looks rather lovely. And then there is a nut milk, which is great. I actually used their almond milk this morning to have with my rose petal granola. And then there's gloriously green. Fabulous, look at that, that is gloriously green. So you can do different cleanses. They've got different types depending on how well versed you are with juices. So Rosie actually has written me here a note. So this is per day. So they give you a little list of when to do it and what time. So juice number 1, when you wake up, the turmeric elixir to wake up, soothe and prepare. Then juice number 2 at 9 a.m, green juice with wheatgrass. Juice number 3 at 11 a.m, fruit-based juice, rejuvenating, lots of antioxidants. Juice number 4 you have at 1 p.m, and a nut milk. And this has got milk thistle, which is an interesting support for the liver. And yeah, I mean, she talks about here about all the really good things, and it's good for your digestion to have something a bit more filling in the middle of the day. Juice number 5 at 4 o'clock, the red orange vegetable juice to support digestion. And then again, juice number 6 at 6 o'clock, the light green juice with aloe vera to slow down, rest and repair. Isn't that great? And then they've got 4 juice cleanse programs: beginner, intermediate, advanced. Be warned, all of the juices are green, but do contain apples and pears. And then super advanced. Gosh, anyone going to have the super advanced? All of the juices are green and contain no fruit except citrus. So they'd be very, very green. So there you go. They're all there. Anyway, that is a lovely thing. And yeah, why not? Give it a go. Could be, if you want a reboot or a restart. Now, as I said, there's lots on juices on lizearlewellbeing.com, and I'm just going to whiz onto my iPad quickly because I know Amy, thank you Amy, has been putting up various questions. So, what do you suggest for bloating? That's from Susan on Instagram. Definitely, you've got to look at your gut. You've got to look at gut health. I mean, you could do a cleanse. I would say a gentle one to start with, because you've got to look at really what's causing the bloating. You know, maybe take out some food groups to start with. Just keep a little food diary. Take gluten out. Does that make a difference? Then the following week, maybe try taking lactose out. Does that make a difference? I've written quite a lot on gut health on lizearlewellbeing.com. There's a whole section. And of course, I've got my book, The Good Gut Guide, which takes you through a 6-week gut cleansing program. It's not super strict, but it's quite gentle and quite mild for getting your gut back into shape. Oh, any ideas for good sturdy recipe book holders? See, you have one in the background. Yes, I forget where I got this one. So this has actually got this is my yearbook 2, which I was making my granola from yesterday. Isn't that nice? Wrought iron. Really nice with its little stand. I will have to see if I can find one. If anybody knows, please let the community here know. That would be good to share. I have also in my studios in London, I have a wooden one, but it's not quite as pretty as that one. I rather like that one, I have to say. How long do juices last? Can we keep them in the fridge? And that's a question from Monica. Yes, you can. I mean, I tend to keep mine for a couple of days. I know that Rosie at the Healthy Juice Company doesn't like me freezing them, but I do freeze them. So, I find that they last really quite well. I'm sure they lose a little bit of their nutritional value, but actually they're so full of goodness that they're still going to be doing you some good. So I'm actually personally quite happy to freeze them. So if I've got some, for example, you know, I go to my studios in London and I've got fridges because we've got our studio's kitchen there. So I've got fridges and freezers there. And to save me moving things backwards and forwards, I will keep stuff there. And if it's, you know, if I'm leaving on a Friday, then I might pop things in the freezer ready for me to get back to later in the week. Can I have juices on a low sugar diet? I love juices, but I've been avoiding them. You just need to be really careful. That's a question from Joanna. So go low sugar. You know, bear in mind that the fruits and the carrots and the beetroot are the things that have the high levels of natural sugars. So, and don't glug them, dilute them with water. Try and go as green as you can. You can have a little bit of green apple to kind of start with to sweeten things. You can, you know, educate your palate by using things like ginger, which is naturally quite sweet without adding the extra fruit juices. What is good for anxiety? And that's from Barbara on Facebook. I so sympathise. With the lockdown, everything seems serious when it isn't, but you cannot stop stressing. Yeah, well, I have recorded a couple of really good podcasts on anxiety and resilience. So there's Dr. Jemima Fitzgerald, which you might want to take a listen to. She's absolutely brilliant on techniques like breathing and things that you can think about and things that you can say to yourself. It's really important. And also in terms of hormone-related anxiety, a really excellent podcast with Dr. Rebecca Lewis, who works with Dr. Newson at Menopause Doctor, the Newson Health Centre in Stratford-upon-Avon, and she has recorded something that's really excellent on that, because a lot of midlife female anxiety comes from fluctuating and lowering estrogen, as we know. So that is certainly something definitely to take a listen to. Oh, come on, don't play up with me, iPad. There we go. This is from Martha on Instagram. Just watched you on this morning for the beginner's juice. Are there any particular types of juices you'd recommend, low sugar, etc.? Well, I think always look at the labels. So if you are buying bottled juices to make your beginner's juice, so that was carrot, beetroot and apple, look at the amount of sugars. The food industry, unfortunately, is quite weaselly with its wording, because it says carbohydrates of which sugars, but, you know, carbs are sugar, basically. So, but it gives you an amount of sugar per 100 gram. So you can just go for the lowest and then dilute it and put something green in it as well. Just keep the sugars down. You know, become aware, become a bit of a sugar monitor. There are various apps you can get that will help you to count sugar as well, to keep sugars down, because it's really important to do that. A couple of questions actually on what to do with the pulp, and that just reminded me of something that I have in here. So in my juice book, I've put a couple of recipes about using the pulp. Let's see if I can find them here. Oh my goodness, I've just seen the sweetest picture. Let me show you. It shows how long ago that I wrote this, because there's a picture of a small boy. Where's he gone? A very small boy, who is now not a small boy. He's a much, much bigger boy. Where's he gone? Come on, we want to see you. So many lovely, lovely pictures in here. Battery charge. This is carrots, garlic, orange and maca powder. Beetroot for beating the blues. And that's orange, blueberries, beetroot, ginger root and chlorella. That's a great combination. So where are we? Oh, there we go. Look at that little tot. That's sweet. Anyway, he's just a toddler, and he's now much bigger. I was looking for recipes, wasn't I? Oh yeah, these are some of the things that you can do. So for example, once you've made your juice, you can make jellies. You can make natural jellies with your juices. And this one is, yeah, here we go. This is a carrot and orange muffin, so you can add some of your pulp to cake muffin recipe mixtures. Just chuck in an extra spoonful or two, just to give you the fibre content and the flavour. So that is something. And then the other thing, yeah, you can add it to soups as well. You can use it to thicken soups. And where are my crackers? There's also a cracker. Here we go, beetroot crackers. You can make crackers using the pulp. You know, so biscuits and things, if you're doing that kind of thing, and you experiment once you've got the fibre there. Of course, it's also really good on the compost. You know, don't throw it away. Lots of good stuff there. That is about it for today, unbelievably. Where does the time go? Honestly, I don't know, it just kind of zips by, doesn't it? Just to say that tomorrow I will be back with Simon Lysett. He is following in my footsteps because he's on this morning tomorrow. And then he's going to do my Instagram live. So really looking forward to that for Floral Friday. I've got some really lovely treats coming up. I'm going to make soap. Yeah. Show you how to make soap, really easy, using some lavender and nice things, which I thought would be nice for the weekend, because we're all washing our hands so much, aren't we? And also just to say that we do still have some of the current issue. This is the May-June issue of Liz Earle Wellbeing, and this is the one, if you want to send it, just a single issue to somebody with a gift message. And actually this was an idea. I'm just going to read you this, because before I go, this was from Helen, and she has wrote to me to say, I met up with some girlfriends recently in New Zealand, and I was telling them all about you and your website. She's in her mid-40s. IGTV, advice and podcasts. You can expect a few more followers from New Zealand. Hi, if you're watching from New Zealand, send me some hearts. Very nice to have you with me across the globe, or maybe you're watching later on catch up. And you've said here, my family in the UK have now also received your magazine. I sent them with the personalised note. So lovely you were able to do that for us. It makes such a difference. I've nearly made my way through all your podcasts, listen to them on my daily walks. You've become a positive inspiration and a trusted source of information about well-being. Thank you very much, Helen. I think I read that one out before, actually, but I just wanted to share it with you because if you want to send somebody just this single issue, and this is all about health and happiness and well-being at home, so it's got ideas that you can do with stuff that's hopefully already in your kitchen cupboard, then my team will write a little handwritten message. You can say pretty much whatever you like, as long as it's not rude and as long as it's legal. We will put it on the little note and send it off to somebody as a little treat, a little lockdown treat. Anyway, I am back, as I said, with Simon Lysett tomorrow for Floral Friday. Lots of other good things going on. So if you've got comments and questions, if you're here on Instagram, then please leave them below. I don't do direct message. I'm sorry, I just get so way overloaded. That's just the one thing that I can't cope with. But I do try and reply to every comment, or at least virtually every comment on my Instagram and also on Facebook. And thank you very, very much. Lovely chats about juicing going on Facebook. Really nice to see everybody chatting and exchanging ideas and sharing, because that's what this whole community is about. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. I am off to, I don't know, maybe have my third bowl of rose petal granola. I mean, you've got to try it, guys. You've really, really got to try it. It's in Yearbook 1. It is so deliciously good. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of the day. Lots of love. Bye-bye.